on behalf of the Gabarron Foundation, I want to thank you all for attending a milestone event for this institution. Not only is it celebrating the 20th anniversary as a foundation, but also it's celebrating its 10th anniversary of its establishment here in New York. During this time, the foundation has contributed to the promotion of cultural exchange among Spain, Latin America, and the US. And I would like to point out, this is the first time these awards are being hosted outside of the foundation's hometown of Valladolid in Spain. For those who don't know, Valladolid is a town located north of Madrid, an hour away via high-speed train, and it was also the cultural center for Spain during the Spanish Renaissance, featuring figures such as the great writer Miguel de Cervantes and also the Spanish artist or Greek-born Spanish artist El Greco. And what better city than New York to kick off this global tradition? As a New Yorker myself, and also as a member of the leading local newscast in the city, I'm sorry I had to say that, my boss is watching. So it's an honor for me to be among such a distinguished and talented group of people who have contributed to the cultural greatness of New York. So thank you so much for being here. Now, before we continue, this inaugural event reaffirms the Foundation's long-standing commitment to the US and in particular to the people of New York City. And that is why, as an active part of this great city, we extend our thoughts, prayers, and of course, our support to the victims of Hurricane Sandy, who many of whom are still suffering the aftermath of its devastating path. And you can see it in New York 1 too. That's all we talk about lately. And Fundación Cristóbal Gabarrón, like I said before, was founded in 1992. It's a cultural foundation with offices in Valladolid, Mula, Barcelona, and New York. Its cultural roots reach back to Valladolid and, of course, the artist himself, Cristóbal Gabarrón. He's not here with us tonight, but, of course, his precious sculptures are here, and they're part of the awards that are going to be given out tonight. These awards have existed for 11 years now, and they acknowledge the excellence and achievement in the fields of humanities, science, literature, sports, economy, and the arts. And of course, none of this would have been possible without the support of everyone here tonight, and of course, our sponsors, ABC, AC Hotels, by Marriott, AFA Press Group, Antena 3 Internacional, Iberia, and Mata Romera Group. I would like to invite you to please give a big round of applause to our sponsors. Each one of them is a vital part of this cultural alliance that wishes to recognize the excellence of those who represent the finest human values. Now, before we commence, please accompany me to welcome the president of the foundation, Chris Gabarron Camero.
Thank you, Carlette. Thank you, distinguished honorees, dear friends, queridos amigos. Good evening and welcome. Thanks to everyone here with us today at the Carriage House Center for the Arts of the Gabarron Foundation, in the heart of the wonderful city of New York. This ceremony represents for us a very special milestone. It will be 20 years since my father, the artist Cristóbal Gabarrón, began the foundation in Valladolid, Spain. 11 years since our late dear friend and chairman Ted Keel encouraged us to settle us in New York, and the first time that we celebrate these international awards in America. After 10 editions celebrated in the Calderón de la Barca Theater of Valladolid, these awards crossed the Atlantic in their 11th edition to encourage and support culture and creativity in Europe, in the United States, and throughout the rest of the world, using the revitalization of our transatlantic partnership to confront the challenges of an increasing globalized and complex war and economy. Hace 200 años se promulgó en la ciudad de Cádiz la primera Constitución española, que fue al mismo tiempo la primera Carta Magna de la historia de ámbito transcontinental, elaborada por representantes políticos de varios continentes de los dos hemisferios del planeta. This Constitution made a decisive imprint on many Latin American and European countries, and its influence on the history of constitutionalism has been remarkably universal. That is why the Ibero-American Summit took place in Cádiz 2 weeks with 20 heads of state from both continents attending. 2 centuries later, we find ourselves in uncertain times, those in which the citizens of many countries must bear major sacrifices. The moment has arrived to break new ground and find common ground of universal reach for the benefit of all humanity. Therefore, from the old world, the Gabarron project extends naturally in both hemispheres, as proclaimed by those members of Cádiz, creating a global field and opening new meeting spaces without physical or geographical barriers. When we began this project, we nurtured it with humility, prudence, and daily work, inspired by the ideas and concerns that Cristóbal Gabarrón has defended throughout his life. Educar y enseñar al tiempo que defender y difundir el arte, la ciencia, el pensamiento, o sea, la cultura en su más amplio espectro. We find ourselves here because the goals set 20 years ago have been redefined thanks to the support of many people. We are especially grateful to all of them. I would also like to thank the individuals who today we recognize and honor with these awards for their commitment, effort, achievement, excellence, universality, tolerance, dialogue, freedom. With their example, they drove us to build a better, more open, more commitment, and dynamic world. Today, on this special night, are none other than Joel Shapiro, astonished artist and sculptor, geometrician of iron, and very first reference in the art world. Stanley Crouch, armed with words and trumpets, journalist, critic, profound writer, plural and decisive creator. Mikhail Baryshnikov, supreme dancer, choreographer, and a true icon of the 20th century, always committed to education and the youth. George Pisacca, to whom we owe so much for a lifetime dedicated to preserving the heritage of humanity. Siri Husband, essential writer and free intellectual who with her excellent work has contributed to the marriage of arts and science, one of the fundamental pursuits of the 21st century. The Economist, a beacon of economy, thought, reason, and debate. Magnificent example of journalism in a world where analysis with insights and depth are needed more than ever. Dr. José Baselga, outstanding researcher, devoted to helping others and giving wings to hope. And lastly, Michelle Bachelet, President Bachelet, former President of Chile and UN Women Director, whose impeccable track record shows that the great values of enlightenment remain unstoppable. These awards are not exclusive to any group of persons or nation. To mark their universal character is why we are here in New York, this unique city, forefront of thought, bulwark of the best dreams, home of the expatriate and the immigrants, and a city which amplifies our desire to help our fellow people across the continents. I conclude my speech as I began, with words of gratitude. Thank you to all the sponsors for your generous and major support. Thank you to those who have made reality the dream of this moment. Thank you to all you present, and congratulations once more to the distinguished award winners and of the 11th Annual Gabarron International Awards. On behalf of my father, who cannot be here with us tonight, and on behalf of the Gabarron Foundation, muchas gracias.
Ready? Okay. Well, and now, without further ado, we initiate this evening of awards, but first I would like to point out that each award recipient will receive an honorary medal and an original sculpture created by the artist himself, Cristobal Gabarron. Beautiful, such an honor. So we start with the Gabarron International Award for Visual Arts, which recognizes the person, team, or institution whose creative work in any of the different areas of visual expression constitutes an exceptional and highly outstanding contribution to world culture. The jury chose unanimously to present the Gabarron International Award for Visual Arts 2012 to a real New Yorker and native of the borough of Queen, Jill Shapiro. For his renewed contribution to the international sculpture in the 20th century and this unique trademark in the geometric field and the world of minimalism, defying all rules of gravity, the jury took in consideration the widespread and powerful presence of his work, not only in countless international museums such as the MoMA, but also in urban and large-scale settings. Delivering the award, Mr. Juan Gabarron, director of the Fundación Gabarron aquí in New York. So, now, it's your turn. Receiving the award, Mr. Joel Shapiro.
I'm not that used to receiving awards. Anyway, I'm particularly delighted to receive this award because the nature of the award is so encompassing and in some real sense confirms that we were involved in this broad and important discourse of discovery and perhaps explication that transcends discipline. It's deeply meaningful to me. And more so, than an art award, but I mean an art award in this broad context is much more meaningful. Thank you.
Very good. Now it's time for the Gabarron International Award for the Performing Arts 2012. Recognizing the person, group, or institution whose creative work in any of the various areas of performing arts expression constitutes an exceptional and outstanding contribution to world culture. The jury presents this prestigious award to Misha Baryshnikov. His contribution to dance, come on, a round of applause. His contribution to dance combines his dedication to classic choreography with film and theater. He also distinguished himself as a television actor. He was my favorite love interest in Sex and the City, let me tell you. So at CBS, 60 Minutes noted this past weekend, just now, seeing him perform is like seeing a hero perform. Nor should we forget his selfless commitment to new talent through the Baryshnikov Arts Center, a vital contribution to the cultural DNA of New York City. Now handing over the award, Honorable Guillermo Linares. Receiving the award, Misha Baryshnikov.
See, I don't know what to do. Joel prepared his speech and I didn't, because I thought it would be much less formal than this. First of all, thank you so much, Gabarron Foundation, and congratulations to my fellow recipients. And most of all, thank you, Spain. When you grow up in my tender age to read a bit of Cervantes and then see films of Carmina Maya and the films of Almodovar, and then have a guts actually to perform in front of the Spanish audience, which I have to say, tell you that probably Spain is one of the countries which I've been performing in the last 25 or 30 years more than any other country in Europe. I just love being there. I love to perform for a Spanish audience. They are kind of forgiving and at the same time very demanding. And I'm very, very, very honored to be here. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay, now the Gabarron International Award for Science and Research 2012. This award is given to the person, group, or institution whose scientific work or research contributes to or produces a major breakthrough, discovery, innovation, or improvement for humanity. This year's award goes to Dr. José Baselga. You can wait. For his extensive career as a medical researcher, he is part of a distinguished group of scientists that has become a reference in medical oncology in the United States and throughout the world. The work of José Baselga has been internationally recognized for the identification of new mechanisms involved in resistance to current cancer treatments. He was recently appointed medical director of the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, one of the most prestigious institutions in the field of clinical oncology. Delivering the award, laureate oncologist Dr. Carlos Cordón Cardo. Let's welcome Dr. José Baselga. Okay, now Chris is gonna deliver the award.
So thank you very much, everybody. So not only I have not written anything, and not only have, like the first presenter, but on top of that, I'm here late. So I have not had a chance to see how other people are giving their speech. So I have no idea whether this should be a 15-minute speech or it should be like a 2-hour talk with slides. I'm assuming it's the first. If I'm wrong, let me know, and I'll do the second. Seriously, it's a great honor, and thank you very much to the Gabarron Foundation for this terrific honor and for this terrific recognition. We, as you know, we have been working in the field of cancer for many, many, many years, and this is a field in medicine that is hard. Cancer affects every single family. There is no family that has not been touched by cancer. We all have friends, family members, ourselves that have had the disease. And what I think is the good news is that we are at a turning point in our war against cancer. Discoveries are happening. breakthroughs are here, and we will see, and we already see in this, in the years to come, a complete new way to treat the disease. And my prediction is that the cure rates will go up and will grow up dramatically. And this is the thank you to a number of important developments. We understand much more what cancer is. We have ideas on how to intervene with the disease. We have better surgery, better radiation. Chemotherapy is going to be gone soon, I hope, and we're going to be developing new therapies that we call targeted, and that's what we do. I am extremely privileged to be part of this story, to be one of many that are fighting this disease. As you know, my field is breast cancer, and again, the field has changed dramatically. I'm also very, very honored to be here in New York. As it has been announced, I am back in town, and I hope for a long, long time. I trained in New York. I lived here for many years. I love the city. I love everything that it's surrounding the city and its people, its imagination, its strength, its commitment, the amount of talent that we have. And today at Memorial Sloan Kettering and in many other institutions in New York, we are at the forefront in this fight against cancer. So again, thank you very much, and don't lose hope. We're going to deal a big blow to the disease, and hopefully we will see the cure in our lifetimes. Thank you very much.
So next, the Gabarron International Award for Economy 2012 recognizes the person, group, or institution whose creative labor has elevated the quality of life of a community, territory, or company in its entirety. This year, the award goes to The Economist for its long career as a reference publication on global economic issues, for its comprehensive world analysis and sharp opinionated articles, for its editorial solidarity, taking responsibility for its expressed opinions, as well as for its impartial journalism, for its criticism of the corrupt and dishonest, and for its recognition of outstanding individuals. Handing over the award, entrepreneur Mr. Alberto Lariora, and accepting the award, Mr. Matthew Bishop, The Economist U.S. Bureau Chief.
Well, given the controversy over the recent Nobel Prize award to the European Union for the Peace Prize, one of my colleagues joked afterwards, well, at least they didn't get the Nobel Prize for economics. Given our rather trenchant views as a magazine on the economics of the European Union, it is quite a delight for us, particularly that a foundation in a country at the heart of the European Union has chosen to recognise The Economist at this point for such a prestigious award. And on behalf of our editor-in-chief, John Micklethwaite, who's had to stay in London to oversee the publication of this week's issue, and all my colleagues, we would like to say thank you very much to the Gabarron Foundation. I'm very struck by the reference to the solidarity of our editorial opinions, because I think we are, as a group, we have no bylines. We all, as journalists, stand together behind every word that we write, and our culture, I think, is unique in journalism, the extent to which we debate everything with each other and reach a shared outcome. And also, I'm very struck by the reference to how we are willing to stand up and expose corrupt individuals, and there have been one or two of those in Europe that we've highlighted in recent years. I think this is a time when journalism needs that more than ever, and we need to be encouraged in that mission. And I'm so delighted that you have recognised us in that respect. it was great also to hear the hopeful message about cancer. It's a lesser hope, but I think we feel that maybe we're at a turning point in the world economy at the moment, that the worst may be over for Europe. And if only those politicians in Washington can sort things out in the next month, you know, things could look much better in the US as well. So on that vaguely hopeful note, read The Economist in the next few weeks and see whether we get this right or not. Thank you very much.
So now it's time for the Gabarron International Award for Literature 2012, which is given to the person, group, or institution that contributes to world culture through the realization of an important creative literary work or linguistic research. This year, the jury presents the Gabarron International Award for Literature to the American novelist and jazz critic, another proud New Yorker, although he was born in California, Stanley Crouch, for his unique combination. You can applaud, yeah. For his unique combination of jazz critic, poet, and author of remarkable works about America as it is today, including the celebrated novels and essays like The Artificial White Man, The All-American Skin Game, and The Notes of a Hanging Judge. His writing has a musical beat of jazz and reflects the intelligence of one of our greatest thinkers. You can read his thought-provoking columns in the New York Daily News. Delivering the award, the celebrated novelist Port Auster. And let's welcome Mr. Stanley Crouch.
I want to thank you very much for getting this award, and because there is nothing that we can do any better than being involved in creation of something and always attempting to create something of value, of human value. I was thinking, when I was listening to Baryshnikov, I was thinking about how strong people have to be to stand up in front of other people and let the other people see them. Now, a lot of people are used to looking at other people. They're not used to being looked at. And I think that that's and when you write, you're attempting to get to the point where you can present yourself in a symbol, a word, or a series of words that tell people something about what you know and who you are. Because, of course, the words don't know who you are, nor care. And so that all of the things, like I was talking to Ornette Coleman recently, I was saying that people are always talking about the things that people do as though the things themselves care. They don't. And so I was saying to him, I said, nobody's ever seen a note. Nobody knows what a note is. And Ornette said, he said, the notes don't know what you are either. Right? and so I would like to finish by saying that perhaps the most, or one of the most remarkable American artists to me was Louis Armstrong, because what he actually had to go through to play, because he was in a profession much like Mr. Baryshnikov is in. He was in a profession that is very physically demanding on you. Now the thing is that a master of that makes it seem to you that it's easy. But it's like a trumpet player told me. He said, he said the trumpet is so hard to play, you have to have a combative thing in you to play the trumpet, to pick it up. He said it's the same thing like with a ballet dancer. It's not as though ballet has anything against you. It doesn't have anything for you. You know what I'm saying? You know? So what I mean is, Armstrong was once in Italy to receive an award, and they'd written a speech for him. This may be an apocryphal story. It was in Italian, and of course, the speech is supposed to have blown off the podium. And so when the cameras came up to Armstrong, he later said that he wanted to think of something that would work in Italy. So he stepped into the camera and he said, "Meatballs and spaghetti." All right.
Now we continue with the Gabarron International Award for Humanities 2012, which is granted to the person, group, or institution whose intellectual work or creative contribution to humanity has exemplified in an outstanding way to the enrichment of knowledge or in support of human rights, brotherhood among peoples, and the fight against injustice. That person is Brooklynite Siri Husband. For her tireless investigative work, which has allowed her to integrate original ideas in philosophy, neuroscience, psychology, and psychoanalysis into her literary, creative, and documentary work. The jury also recognizes with this award her contribution to the understanding and discovery of fine arts through her many essays, articles, and works of fiction. Handing over the award, Nobel Prize Eric Maskin received the award, of course, Miss Siri Husband.
Don't worry, it's short. It's just a couple lines longer than Jules. I am very happy to accept this award in the spirit of the Gabarron Foundation that has brought us here together tonight to applaud men and women who are working in both the arts and the sciences, and one of us who has been working on the art and science of being a head of state and now working for the UN and the rights of women. I am not a utopian thinker, one of those people who dreams of perfect worlds, but I do believe that in a world of increased specialization, a world in which people know more and more about less and less, a world in which discrete disciplines develop arcane languages that are difficult for outsiders to penetrate, conversation among people in different fields is not only possible, it is necessary. Specialization breeds expertise, but also isolation and dead ends. My adventures in various disciplines have taught me that dialogue is essential to creative thought. When we engage one another openly, when we bother to read and learn, really learn, how the scientist or poet or economist or dancer or novelist or head of state or philosopher works and thinks, we inevitably question our own set patterns of thought. This can be uncomfortable, an uncomfortable, even vertiginous experience. but good things come of it. What good thing, you may ask? The next question, the question you couldn't have asked without the dialogue. Thank you so much.
Okay, now it's time for the Gabarron International Award for Restoration and Conservation 2012, which recognizes the person, group, or institution whose professional work or research has contributed to the restoration, conservation, and/or protection of cultural historic art. This year, the award goes to George Bisaca. For his contribution and extraordinary career in the field of structural restoration and conservation of panel paintings, and for having taken part in the restoring of great masterpieces, including those belonging to the Museo del Prado in Madrid. In addition, with the support of the Gabarron Foundation, he has been instrumental in creating an international network of art restorers in order to share knowledge and increase the capacity to restore and preserve major works of art. Delivering the award, Chris Gabarron himself. And of course, accepting the award, let's welcome George Bisaca.
Well, forgive me for reading this, but I'm terrible at this. Many, many thanks to the Gabarron Foundation for this maravilloso premio. I'm truly honored to be recognized in such illustrious company. The work that we do as conservators is, I think, not in itself great, but seeks to recognize, understand, and preserve the greatness of human expression contained in the artworks in our care. Only by this recognition can we begin to devise appropriate treatments that will ensure that each particular idiosyncratic form of expression remains intelligible. That is, that the work continues to communicate its essence. Our work is not directly a creative act. Instead, our creativity lies in our ability to invent technical solutions to mechanical problems and aesthetic imbalances within the work of art. Our success can be judged on how little we affect the overall aesthetic of the object in terms of the artist's original intent, while minimizing to the extent possible the damaging effects of time, accident, and human intervention. I've had the great good fortune over these 34-odd years to work on paintings of extraordinary quality and to collaborate with exceptional curators and conservators, especially the staff at the Museo del Prado in Madrid, the Opificio delle Pietre Dure in Florence, and of course my colleagues here in New York at the Metropolitan Museum. The greatest privilege has always been to be very close to great works of art and the people who have dedicated their lives to their understanding and appreciation. Thank you so much.
Okay, our final award of the evening is the Gabarron International Award for Lifetime Achievement 2012, which is given to the person whose career and both personal and professional commitment in the social, political, cultural, or scientific areas has stood out as an example for humanity. This year, the award recognizes former President of Chile, Michelle Bachelet, the first woman to achieve the highest political rank in her country, for her continued defense on women's and children's rights, promoting innovative political and economic reforms in the social system of her country. President Bachelet, through the formation of UN Women, maintains and expands her social commitment throughout the world, improving the lives of thousands of women and children while promoting gender equality and children's education. The jury also recognizes her position and willingness to establish a dialogue with the Latin American community and to expand relations with Spain, thus contributing to increased collaboration during the years she was president of Chile. Now, of course, we have President Bachelet coming over and handing the award to the European Union's Special Service Director for Africa, Mr. Ángel Castro Carrillo. Please welcome.
Good evening, and thank you very much. And I want to thank the Gabarron Foundation and the jury for bestowing upon me this Lifetime Achievement Award. I am truly grateful for this honor. But I'm not quite sure how I feel about receiving an award for lifetime achievement, because it makes me feel like an antique or maybe a piece of museum. I have had a long time to achieve things, and I hope I have a long time ahead of me. In accepting this award, I'm fully cognizant of all the work, not only that we have done, but mainly what remains to be done. And all the individuals who have paid the ultimate price and lost their life in pursuit of freedom and democracy. I can tell you from my own experience, my country's experience, my region's experience, that when we lack fundamental freedoms, we fully appreciate their value because usually we take them for granted. And when human rights are systematically violated, we understand that we must stand up for human rights as the very foundation of a civilized life. And we know that democracy must be taken care of today and tomorrow, every day, and that governance depends on not on elsewhere, it depends on each and all of us. And inclusive economic policies and social protection are essential to democracy. And today we see clearly that politics is regarded with suspicion by many people. And we must replace distrust and cynicism with a renewed belief in politics as a service to the community, the collective interest, commitment with the effort to have a more just and equitable society. It is time to put people at the center. So we need leadership that is ethical and advances peace, justice, and equality. We need leadership that is inclusive. We need leadership that dialogues. We need to cultivate the values of decency, honesty, and transparency in political life and encourage people's, men's, women's, and young people full participation. So we need women and men living together. And we need to give values and virtue to politics because this gives us hope for the future, for resolving many issues that are unique to an open society in which citizens rightly demand the rights to be heard, but also not only to be heard, to influence in the decision making. So as I accept this award, I cannot forget so many men and women around the world whose rights are violated, whose dignity is denied, and whose voices cannot be heard. So I believe that political action is necessary to achieve a better life for all, particularly for those who have been historically disadvantaged. I'm convinced that it is possible to move in that direction. And as I accept this award, I do it with humility and an equal measure of determination. I pledge to keep fighting for peace, human rights, equality, and democracy. The struggle for freedom beats in every bit of human heart. It is also a universal struggle, and commitment has no expiration date. As we say in my home country of Chile, no hay marcha atrás. There is no going backward. We will keep on moving forward. Thank you very much.
Well, the ceremony is coming to an end, but first I would like to point out that every year the Gabarron Foundation recognizes individuals or institutions that have set an example in the field of sports. This year, unfortunately, this award category was also affected by Hurricane Sandy. And since the jury couldn't come to a decision during the days, the city was severely impacted. So in a way, it's our tribute to those who suffered the consequences of the hurricane, but we promise next year there will be a Gabarron International Award for Sports 2013. So I hope to see you then. Please enjoy the rest of the evening. We have been honored with the presence of such a distinguished audience in this inaugural New York edition. Thank you so much for being part of it.